Well, good morning, and it is time for Mother Knows Best, and we're so thankful that you ladies are all here with us this morning and excited to get to talking with you. Our first topic this morning, we're talking about Father's Day. It has snuck right up on me. I don't know about you guys, but it's Sunday, so don't forget that you want to honor your dads every day, but Sunday's that day where we really take the time to make him feel like a king. But we want to talk about how to honor fathers this morning, maybe some ideas that you guys have, and so just go ahead and we're going to just talk about it, shout them out. What's going on?
Okay, I guess everyone's looking at me. My dad, first of all, my folks live far away, so the best thing we ever did a couple years ago was get them signed up with Skype. So they're a little older, so they're not totally comfortable with still even with that, but we try to make a big deal, at least at special occasions, because to do it day to day, it's too flustering for them. But I wanted to brag on my kids, because they did this little plate.
That's
so cute.
We have special plates at home, you know, for special occasions, birthdays and stuff. And so they painted this. I don't know if you can see this. And it just says Dad.
That is
but
really
we painted
sweet.
it on the bottom, and we have a clear coat, you know, over it so that he can use it as a plate.
So you actually went to the store, bought this, and did this all at home?
Yeah.
What kind of paint did you use?
It's just acrylic paint, and then there's a sealer over it, so you can put it in the dishwasher. Although I don't think I'll do that because I don't want it, you know,
Just in
risk it.
case.
It's just one plate.
Hand
Yeah.
wash them.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
wonderful
craft
idea.
store.
And you know, that could really transfer over to, you could do it for your kids for a special birthday
Absolutely.
plate, or there are many different ways, you know, you don't ever
Absolutely.
think about just doing something, but that's a really
Yeah.
great craft. And because it's summertime, give your kids something to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real easy.
Very
Yep.
good.
Yeah.
What are some other ideas?
Well, the men in my family like to eat, so we always have like a big Father's Day dinner, and that's what we're going to do this year. I also want to touch base too, especially because I'm blessed to have my daddy, and he is so cute with his little pot belly. I'm so blessed to have my daddy still, but one of the things too, I don't want to take for granted the people whose father has passed on, and one of the things that they go through is dealing with the fact that daddy's not here. So one of the things that I would encourage them to do, I still have my father, but we do this for my sister, you know, do things like do a balloon lift. A lot of people change their Facebook pages into you know, pictures in honor of their dads. I bought my mom a candle for my sister, and it's a big huge candle with initials on it. So every special occasion we always light that candle, and we have it there, you know, in her memory. And then I got to put this in there, I'm gonna hush, I promise. People whose dad is still living, but they feel like they haven't been there, give your daddy the best gift that you can possibly give him, and forgive him. And you know, send him a card, and if you're a dad and you have not been there for your kids, reach out to them, and they may not, but just, you know, keep reaching out to them, forgive them, you know, because it's a wonderful thing to have a father in your life, but it's even hard, you know, it feels worse, I can imagine, to have him there and he not be there. So give him the best gift this year and just forgive it.
Yeah.
That's me, I'm a hush.
I think that's
good.
really important. You know, we focus so much on buying something. What are we going to give him? But I mean, there's so many other intangible gifts that are so much more important. You know, time, like that attention. We went up this summer to visit my family, and I just sat down with my dad. I hadn't seen him in so long, and we just talked. It was wonderful. You know.
Kelly, that touches on what I wanted to talk about, which I think kind of gets forgotten a lot. There's 2.5 million children in this country who have at least one parent that's incarcerated, and most of those are males. There's a lot of children growing up without their daddies because they're locked up, and children tend to internalize and think, maybe if I would have just been better and not broke that dish or whatever, daddy would have loved me enough to stay out of jail. So it's so important, if it's safe to do so, to maintain that bond. And you can do that by having the child write to their parent, to go visit them when possible. And there's programs in a lot of the facilities where dad can read a book on a tape, and then he can mail that tape to the child, so at night the child can hear their father's voice reading them a bedtime story.
Great.
I have one other suggestion for military dads, because you know I'm prior military also, and you just can't underestimate the value of that piece of mail that comes in. You got to plan ahead for something like that, but just as Pat said, it doesn't have to be something tangible. Making a video of you and the kids making cookies and then sending the cookies, even if they're awful and broken and everything else, having that little short video that they can access, because they periodically get internet access, that just means more to them than anything.
Those are some really great ideas. Very, very good ideas. Well, we're going to be talking more about now about how fathers can build up a child. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my husband, and he is a wonderful father. We're working on a special surprise for our kids, and he was working last night, and he always tells my daughters that they're beautiful. They're his princesses. He loves on them, you know, and he gives his son that, you know, he's always doing that male bonding with our son. Spend time with your kids doing nothing, talking about anything.
Absolutely.
That's the best thing. The best thing.
Very good. Those are some really great ideas. What do you guys think about that?
Time, absolutely number one. I mean, it's just so easy for dad to come home and either bring work home with him or if he's self-employed, you know, it feels like it's 24/7 sometimes. And the kids just feel, and the dad might feel, I mean, it might be innocent, you know, the dad might feel, well, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing this for the kids, but that's not what's felt, you know. And it really, time to me is the biggest thing. Doing nothing, doing chores, whatever.
Very good. We're going to be back in just a moment to talk more about this. Stay with us. Good day. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Good Day. We are in our Mother Knows Best segment. Excuse me. We've been talking about Father's Day. It's coming up on Sunday, sneaking right up on us. And but we want to address the issue now about, you know, single families and how what you do with Father's Day and Mother's Day and things like that.
Right. For Father's Day for us, because I am a single parent, but their father is still very much involved in what goes on there. And I would say to single parents, for the moms, you've got to make an effort to make sure that the dad still has the opportunity to be involved. You can't underestimate how important that is. And the natural tendency, and I say this for myself, is that when the dad shows up, you just want to say, okay, you can be the disciplinarian for the next couple of days. No, you need to carve out some time for that father to have that quality time where they're enjoying the children and, you know, role modeling for the children and just having fun with them. And that's the best kind of Father's Day for them. If you just saddle them with all the duties when they show up, you know, it's no fun for anybody.
Right. Very good points. Great job. And then you were mentioning too, you know, some things about some families that you wanted to tell everyone.
Well, I think, and I know I'm guilty of this, especially with the grandchildren more so, is that, you know, when my husband would be in the pool and he'd be throwing them up in the air and I'd be like, don't do that, you know, they're my babies, don't do that. But kids learn differently. They learn how to play rough, and they learn different things from their dads than they do from us. And I think sometimes as moms, we need to take a deep breath, maybe even go in the house so we don't see what's going on, and just let them have their fun and do their thing and let them learn what they need to learn from their dads.
Yeah, I think she's going to cause trouble because my husband is watching this. He's going, you need to listen to the one in the yellow. You know, because I'm the same way, especially with my son. Even when he goes outside, I'm constantly every 5 seconds to the window because I have to see him. And I think, you know, my husband tells me all the time, you know, you need to let him grow up and be a little man. And I'm so protective. I watch too much HLN. I do. But, I mean, it's just,
It's hard.
It's hard, but dads can give them that extra strength and vigor that they need to face things in the world. So, Travis, don't say anything when I get home. I hear it. Okay?
Travis, call me.
I love it. You guys are so funny. Well, you know, you've mentioned some really great ideas about Father's Day and some things that, you know, families can do to honor fathers. But, you know, when we've mentioned a little bit about, you know, fathers who aren't there and things like that, but what are some things to do, you know, maybe if a father has to work that day or things like that, what are some ways that you can kind of work around it?
I think Father's Day can be every day. It doesn't have to be a particular day. So if dad's got to work, you just make a different time for that, as long as the kids understand that, hey, this is the time we're going to honor dad.
And you can do activities that center around the time of day. My husband, when he gets off of work late, then we have dinner late and we have dinner in a movie. I mean, he loves to watch movies and stuff like that. And then, you know, when we lived in Sumter County, we would do the outdoor stuff because by the time he got home, it was later and it was cooler and we'd be outside and barbecuing and stuff like that. So you can center it around the time of day and make it really fun. If he gets up in the morning, have breakfast, you know, have a breakfast with him. Afternoon, lunch, you know, so it's just, you have to get creative.
Well, and if it's possible too, you can bring the kids and surprise them for lunch. I used to do that when my kids were in the office. We'd make a big deal about bring balloons and everything and just make it would be really fun and festive kind of thing.
Make sure it's not too hot though, because I did it with my husband one time and had the balloons from the car and they were popping and they thought gunshots were going off. So y'all make sure that it's not too hot, you know, when it does that. Okay, just hush.
That is so funny. I love it. Well, you know, when you're getting ready to do all these festivities and everything, what are some things that you keep in mind as you're making plans?
Well, my husband has everything. that he wants. He's going to turn 70 in a week. And so you ask him, what do you want? Nothing. You know, or a new truck, which is not really in the budget for right now. So you really do have to get creative. And honey, if you're listening, turn the volume down. But what I plan on doing for him, because I don't do a lot of really extravagant cooking, is I'm going to go buy some really good steaks, and I'm going to make him a really nice dinner that he will love. And I think
And the
coming
dogs
from
won't
the heart,
get any, right?
unless there's any left over. But he'll get his first, and then the dogs get what's left over. But I think I'll try to do something like that because, you know, with a guy that has everything, you don't want to just go buy some
Very
trinket.
good. Very good. Well, thank you guys for sharing your opinions on that. And don't forget, again, Father's Day is Sunday. That's what we've been talking about all morning. So make sure to appreciate your dads every single day, but make sure to tell them, especially on Sunday, that you love them. We're going to be back with more Mother Knows Best and more Good Day right after this.
I love it, the cartoon kid.
We are back, and we've got some tips on how to stay sane while raising children. These are off of a blog that someone had actually put on Facebook, and I thought they were so cute. The writer of the blog, she says that, you know, everybody thinks that everybody else has it more together than they do, but it's not true. And her friend was saying, like, do you ever yell? Because you always seem like you're so calm. And she said, I laugh, my kids laugh, like, we're loud, we yell all the time and stuff. And so, you know, we're keeping it real here on Mother Knows Best, and we just want to talk about some of these things. Now, the first one is lower your standards for cleanliness and order. They say your house will never look like a magazine spread. It's just not. So embrace that. What do you guys think about that? We have a lot of pressure with the things that we see on TV and
Nobody's going to remember how clean my house was when I'm dead, but my children will remember those picnics in the park and those things that we've done, you know, and I think you just have to find that balance and release some of that pressure on yourself.
But it is harder to do when you're younger. Like, we have 2 older children, and I was a very different parent with them than I am with my 3 younger ones. You know, it was the first time around, and you want them to turn out right, you know, and a lot of, whether it's good or bad, a lot of your self-image, you know, when you're a young parent, you want to see your kids do well, and that's how you feel about yourself. And so it's hard to laugh, but yeah, you have to let go.
Yeah, I don't even have a standard when they're that young. I mean, just get rid of it because it's not going to happen. I mean, you clean up, oops, I just waste something. And so it's, you know, as long as the health department can't come in and you know, and just declare your house a hazard zone, when they're younger, just give up on it. My kids are older now, and to be honest, it's worse. But they understand things a little bit more now, so, you know, I can take things away from them, you know, the cell phone or the TV and stuff, so I use that as blackmail. Clean up. Don't clean up and see what happens. See what happens.
Lowering your standards is hard, especially when you know people are coming over and you're thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to make a judgment about what kind of parent I am by the fact whether my house is clean or not. But you know, a few visits to their house and there's some reality will set in. They're not perfect parents either, so.
Very true. She says you can never have too many popsicles in the freezer. How many bad moods have been fixed by a popsicle? What do you
We
guys think?
store up in the summer because you can't find them in the winter.
Right.
So we buy bags and put them in the freezer on the back porch because that is so true. Popsicles heal everything.
Yeah, and we have, at our house, we have something called chocolate therapy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's in the refrigerator
But
all
is
the
she
time.
talking about us or the kids?
I know.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
That is so cute. Okay, they say if you can't change them, change your perspective. She said that she heard one time that toothpaste is great for cleaning, so whenever she goes into the bathroom and sees toothpaste everywhere, she thinks they've already done half the work. What do you guys think?
She cleans it up as she's muttering under her
Yes,
breath, though.
right, exactly. She did mention that part.
I'm not gonna even say they don't messed up this bathroom. Get in here and clean it up. That's me on that one. I mean, we do teach our kids good cleaning. They haven't got there. I don't know if they ever will, but I don't get happy when I see toothpaste on the sink. I can't agree with that one.
Yeah, and sometimes you
Yeah.
can't really change your perspective about
Yeah.
that. You got to enforce some rules, but I think as you get a little bit older and you have your kids a little longer, you realize what's worth getting upset about. And toothpaste on the sink is not one of those things to be upset
Pick your
about.
battles.
Yeah,
Yeah, pick your
exactly.
She says those chores that no one ever wants to do, decide if you'd rather do it yourself or badger your children to do it or let it go. What do you guys think? I know you have older children, so kind of, and you like kind of letting them do the chores.
Yeah, they definitely have to do it. My girls, you would think that they're cleaner, but actually my son is cleaner than my girls. So yeah,
Interesting.
they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
I find a balance between it. You know, sometimes it's easier just to do it myself, but if I'm not in a rush, then, you know, I will say, hey, honey, come back here and wipe off the table where you left the crumbs, you know, and push your chair in, and, you know, so I don't have to do it every time.
Very good. Kind of ending on that note, she says, no one cares what is stuffed under your child's bed. Why should you? And you kind of mentioned as long as the health department's not coming to your house.
And she said if you do have dogs, and I have 9.
You can only imagine. We're going to be back in just a second going over more of these lists of 23 things to keep you sane while you're raising kids. Stay with us. We're back with more Mother Knows Best. We've been talking about some tips of keeping you sane while you're raising kids. A lot of them having to do with cleanliness of the house, you know, and wanting to make sure everything is spick and span like we see on the magazines, because that's what every house looks like, right?
No.
No.
So we're talking now. This one is kind of funny, but they say if you have boys, your bathroom will always smell like urine. So just invest in some Febreze and count down the days until they move out. So you guys have some boys. What are your thoughts?
I don't think Febreze, they need to come out with a whole new.
Oh, yeah.
Febreze is not going to do it. I mean,
There's a market out there for somebody who can make something to cure that,
you know
cover
what?
that.
That's an invention.
Lysol
Yeah.
wipes are good. The Lysol wipes are good.
Yeah, but when they're hitting the baseboard and everything. like-
Hand them the Lysol
Yeah,
wipes.
well, he was, and I told you all the story about how my son discovered that he could kill little spiders that was coming up, you know, with his lemonade. And so I've just, you just have to pray that when they get older, they get better about it, you know, with the aim and stuff. I'm just going to hush. I'm just going to hush. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So we don't know where that one's going.
Right.
But they say don't buy white furniture. You don't want to be screaming at your kids all the
Totally.
time. It's just not worth it. However bad a situation might seem, one day it's going to seem funny.
Oh, I have a great quick story
Tell
about
us.
that. My grandsons are 8. They're 16 now. And we had just talked my husband to buy me a big screen TV because he's not a TV fan. And they had gotten a bottle of clear fingernail polish on a dare, and they had started at the very top corner of my brand new big screen TV, and they painted the whole big screen TV with fingernail polish. And Grandma spent an hour deep breathing in timeout before I could even deal with them. And you cannot get fingernail polish off of those old school big screen TVs. But now it's funny. Now when I do training about child abuse, I actually talk about this and how I prevented myself from killing them that day. So, you know, it is a funny story. So it all will eventually be a good story to tell.
Very good. They say when your child's a young teen, there will be nothing more embarrassing than your existence, so use this to your advantage.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You guys like
Yes.
embarrassing
Oh,
them?
yeah.
I do it all
Love
the
it.
time. I do it all the time. They tell me, you talk too loud. Mom, you're talking too loud. People can hear you. For example, the checkout boy who's standing there with his pants down below his waist and my children can see his underwear. I say, you know what? I wish I brought my staple gun so I could help him out with that. Mom, he can hear you. Yes, it's my, I love being the embarrassing factor. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that to my son a lot. I'm bad about yelling, I love you, TJ. And it's always funny because if he's in line, he just kind of gels in behind the person when you can't see him. Or either with my girls or whatever, I'm always saying stuff. If a boy gets near him, then I'm just, you know, you have to just do something silly or something out of the way. I mean, men, their dad, we love making their life miserable. I mean, we do.
One of the ones I love, she says the crayons will break and it is okay to just throw them away and some sort of, and instead of making it into some sort of craft with a hair dryer, don't feel guilty about, you know, reusing these things or this craft that you're never going to do. I think it's great because we've been, you know, Pinterest is out the wazoo. And
Yes.
what do you guys think?
You don't want to wind up on hoarders, and that's what happens if you're going to be saving all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that I just kind of struggle with that sometimes because I am a crafty person. I love doing crafts, and I'm from forever. And that bag of when I read that one, the bag of crayons, I thought I know where my bag of crayons is. You know, but you know what? It was from when my 2 older kids were little. I went after I read it, and I took it and I threw it in the trash. I felt so good.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, you can't save everything, and you got to teach your kids that you can't save everything. You got to show them what's a treasure and what's not.
Very good. Yeah. They say children don't appreciate top sheets or high thread counts, so don't buy them. Just don't even worry about it.
Absolutely.
You know,
Oh, my boys especially. I've been after them. Put up top. You know, they make their own beds. but they never put the top sheet on. You know, so I have these nice, crisp new top sheets in the closet, and then these ratty old bottom sheets, and then they have a blanket over it.
There you go.
Well, my daughter, she sleeps pretty so that she doesn't have to make the bed.
Oh.
I mean, she literally sleeps so that she can just pull it back up. So I'm like,
brilliant.
you know,
No, that's
yeah,
great.
That's brilliant.
Well, you guys can join us every Thursday for Mother Knows Best. If you have a suggestion for a topic you'd like for us to discuss, email us at mothers@wfxl.com. You can find out more about these ladies on mysouthwestga.com. We'll see you in the morning at 5 a.m. Thanks, ladies.
All right. Happy Father's Day.